Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is a very busy morning here on the program. And we have some special guests in the studio today. Well, several different guests here in the studio. But first off, we have some friends from the Stockroom 601. And we have, of course, what's your official title, Shawn?
General Manager.
General Manager and Chef here. So could you kind of tell everybody who you are and a little bit about yourselves?
Good. My name's Lynn Sokolowski. I'm originally from Detroit. I've done all sorts of catering, fine dining, off-premise, caterings, just a vast, experience around Metro Detroit. Mm-hmm. And then I moved down here.
Can I let her go? How on earth did you end up from Detroit to Jackson, Ohio? Or Ohio in general?
Well, I went to culinary school in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I had a boyfriend who lived in the Ohio Valley. It didn't work out between him and I, but I fell in love with Ohio and the Valley.
Okay.
So when
Fair.
it was after some things, I wrapped some things up in Detroit, and I picked a house 60 miles from Columbus. So that I knew I could make sure I had a job, and luckily when Shawn took over the Stockroom, called me up, and it's basically my dream job. So
well, very good. That's
things
awesome.
do work out.
Yes, they do. Boys are stupid. We'll talk about that later.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. No, very good. Welcome to the area. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
And so the Stockroom is doing, you all have lost your minds and
Yes, I have.
are doing, a lot of new and exciting things.
Yep.
So let's talk about some of that.
So whenever I took over the Stockroom in January, one of my goals was to really emphasize the family-friendly environment, and a place where you can take your kids, have a great meal that is just really good food. Back in June, we switched over to a pretty much all from scratch menu, fresh ingredients, locally sourced, and from scratch. And I mean it when I say that. We wanted to everything down to the ranch dressing. Like, it's actually made from herbs and spices, not just a packet of ranch seasoning, right? So, and whenever I brought Lynn on in August, she and I agreed with that. We had the same idea as far as like what food should be and what we could offer to the Jackson community. And so we've just kind of run with that. And Lynn will be getting ready to launch a new menu here shortly after the 1st of November, just kind of revamping what we've already done.
Okay.
Adding some new options to it as well. But yeah, we I've definitely lost my mind. I'm
driving down the road the other day and I'm listening to Matt talk about like some of these changes. I'm like, they are nuts.
Yeah.
Cool, but they are crazy.
Well, I'm the type of person that I firmly believe that I want to give 100% to whatever I'm doing.
Sure.
And I feel as though Jackson deserves more diversity and variety in food, as well as just really good food. So, to that, we've started offering DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery services. We've opened for lunch on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, soon to be opening on Tuesdays for lunch and dinner, possibly more. Not sure how that's going to go yet. But, when it comes to building a business and to building a brand, it's all about having the right people in place.
Sure.
Lynn was one of the first steps in that process for me. But it's also, just identifying who you are and what you want to be. Which is part of the reason why, we want to be a family-friendly restaurant, But on Friday and Saturday nights, we want to be 18 and up and let the adults have some fun, right?
Yeah,
where they
sure.
don't have to, the kids can stay at home or mom and dad can take care of the kids, come out and have some fun. So that's kind of the direction we've gone with it. Just keep on doing. To me, okay is never good enough.
Yeah.
So if you can't be great, then what are you doing?
Well, here's the thing, you and I have talked a lot about different things, but you're either moving forward or you're going backward. You're never, staying the same is not an option. So,
Especially in our business, if you're not growing, then you're literally dying.
yeah,
Like
and you just have to keep moving forward, trying new things, doing new things. So yeah, good for you for that. So. Did I hear that you are like literally keeping the kitchen open till like really late?
So starting this weekend, our kitchen is going to be open until 2 a.m. every Friday and Saturday night. So, when we want to have a place where, adults can go and have some fun, enjoy themselves, but also be able to, you've had a couple cocktails, you need some food, we got you. Yeah, it's crazy. It's aggressive.
And it's still the quality food that we serve during the day. It's just available late night for you.
Yep.
So,
I mean, wow. Y'all are great.
Well, I mean, again, it's you can't be afraid to fail. And I think that's something that I apply it to business as well as personal life. If you don't take chances, you can never be great.
We as humans are terrified to fail, and that's what keeps us from doing great things sometimes.
Failure is just an opportunity to learn. And so if you're doing it, it's okay. But one of the things we're doing this coming weekend, this coming Saturday night, is our blacklight Halloween party, where I am going to be hanging up some really awesome black lights, and we're gonna glow all weekend long. I'll be DJing Saturday night, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And that's this coming Saturday.
don't we have some glow in the dark drinks as well?
We do have glow in the dark drinks. I've been kind of getting creative with blacklight lit cocktails. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've got some more DJing lights, whatnot that I'm installing. It's going to be awesome.
He's doing all this just so he can be a kid again. I know what he's doing.
Oh, partially, yes.
He's like, this is just fun for me.
I'm super tech nerdy, and I have no problem admitting that. If it's anything tech related, I'm all for it. So part of it's fun for me, but it's also fun for people to go out and
it is.
We have an actual dance floor in the middle of our restaurant that's been there for 50 years.
For 7,000 years.
But that's
We've all been there. Don't say you haven't been, because you have.
That's part of the homage to the location and to the history of the building too that I'm trying to play into, is make it fun, but during late nights on Friday and Saturday nights, but the rest of the time we're just a chill restaurant where you can come and eat some really good food, bring your family, have some fun. We've got a kids menu that's launching in the next week or so. We've got a lot that we're doing, and it's just a matter of pulling the trigger, make it happen.
Okay, so what hours wise, tell us when are you starting, or have you started the new hours, and what exactly are they, just so people aren't confused?
So Wednesday we are open from 11 to 11. Same with Thursday, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Friday we will be open from 11 a.m. until 2 a.m. And then Saturdays we are open from 4 p.m. until 2 a.m.
Okay.
As it stands right this second.
I forgot to eat. Lynn, did you bring me some food?
I'm sorry.
We did not. Sorry.
Okay.
We probably shouldn't show those pictures then, because it's just going to make her stomach rumble.
I know, right? Do you have some pictures of some of the foods?
I could put them on here, yeah.
Speaking of food, we've also got our Thanksgiving meals.
No, this is a brilliant idea.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lynn has been awesome as far as being the person who's able to take the ideas and really run with them. So this is something that we've done in the past. She and I worked at a restaurant in Chillicothe together.
Yeah.
And so when I came here, immediately tried to get her to come work for me, and she dragged her feet and took several months, but it's fine.
Hey,
But
okay.
once she came out, Thanksgiving's one of those things, I love Thanksgiving. I love to eat, obviously. But I don't like cooking, and I don't like cleaning up after a meal. And I think those are two of the biggest challenges, especially when you're trying to entertain family and guests. So we're doing Thanksgiving meals to go.
And I think this is so brilliant, because Thanksgiving is a time that should be stress-free. Christmas is stressful. once we get past Thanksgiving, everybody goes into super panic mode, which is stupid, by the way. But that being said, Thanksgiving is a time where you should be able to, in my opinion, nobody be stressed out. Just have a great meal with friends and family. But there's always that person that has to do the cooking and has to do the cleaning and setting the table and all of that. Well, okay. So at least you can take the cooking and the cleaning out of the situation.
I have been that person in my family.
I'll bet you have been.
For quite a few holidays, but I love it. Like, I love doing it. But for someone who's not as apt at cooking or cooking for multiple people,
stressful, and it's hard when you don't know how to cook for multiple people.
Yeah.
Like, you can cook for you and your husband or your kids or whatever, but once you get into start talking about families coming over, you just lose all sense of
Absolutely.
of
see,
what
I'm
to
on the
do.
opposite end. I know how to cook for 25 plus. When it comes to just me or me and a friend, I don't know how to do that. I
There's
always
enough
have too
food
many
for an army.
leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. So tell us about these. So you can pre-order a Thanksgiving meal, and it will be done for you.
All you have to do is we'll give you reheat instructions, pop it in the oven follow the instructions, and take it out and enjoy.
Yep.
That's awesome. So what's included in this Thanksgiving meal?
So it's everything you need. Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. We've got the roasted turkey breast, the brown gravy. I'm doing cornbread stuffing because, it's a personal favorite of mine. Cranberry orange relish.
Sure. Oh, cool.
Again,
always
all
my
of this
job.
is from scratch as well.
The only
So-
thing that I have to do for Thanksgiving is the turkey and cranberry relish.
Yeah.
And then we've got Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, green bean almondine, honey braised carrots, and I'm venturing out on a limb this year, and I am making pecan pies. I'm very proud of myself for this. It's
is
with Shawn's
awesome.
assistance.
Lynn doesn't bake, and so I'm kind of pushing her to bake. So the pecan pie is actually my family recipe. I was born and raised in Georgia. Moved here a few years ago. Kind of like Lynn, we just decided to completely transform our lives and do it. So I did it. But that pecan pie is several generations of my family's recipe, and it is amazing. So I reached out to Mom and said, "Hey, I need the pecan pie recipe." She said, "What are you doing with it?" I was like, "I'm about
just
to
gonna
feed it
share
to
it with
all the
the
people."
world.
Yeah, why not? So, yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
a
fun.
favorite of mine. I've made it before, but on a grander scale is going to be my challenge. But I'm looking forward to
why
it.
not?
I'm
The more the
feeling very
merrier.
confident about this.
Yeah.
So the best part about those meals is that they feed 10 to 12 people. You can come pick it up the evening before Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving morning. All you got to do is call Parks Edge Event Center, 740-919-3343, and we'll get you set up. We'll take care of payment over the phone, and all you got to do is come pick it up whenever you're ready.
Yeah, and I think you said it was $200.
$200
And that
even.
is, I'm telling you, that is a steal. I mean, we all know when we go to the grocery store now what things cost,
Yeah.
and you couldn't even begin to do all of that for $200.
Well, we're fortunate that we're able to source food in bulk, and typically when you do that, it's cheaper. We have a ton of storage, and we're able to acquire fresh food. And when you're making from scratch meals, you typically save a little bit of money than you do from buying pre-done stuff. So that's kind of, we just pass that savings along to our customers.
Absolutely. So let them take the worry out of your Thanksgiving holiday.
Yep, I'll
I
cook
hope
for
you
you
sell,
guys.
like,
You just have to enjoy.
7,000 of those suckers. Yeah.
I've
great.
already sold quite a few. I've already sold more than I anticipated selling. But the cutoff, I believe, is November 19th. I don't remember off the top
you're
of my
doing
head.
it into yourself then, because you've got plenty of time.
Yep.
And-
Yep. People are already ordering. So, yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, 11/19 is the cutoff date.
That is awesome. So many cool things going on at Stockroom you can take advantage of. Special nights. Don't you have a pool tournament?
So Wednesday nights
Wednesdays?
we do a weekly pool tournament.
This Wednesday is tonight.
Tonight.
Actually, is
yeah.
fundraiser.
That's right. They're doing a fundraiser for, I don't remember what they're doing it for. So Stockroom 601 doesn't actually host the tournaments. We have someone who volunteers that, and she handles all the work.
If I'm
so
correct, I want to say it's for the Florida
It is for the
okay.
hurricane victim assistance
Hurricane
in North Carolina and
Cool.
whatnot. Yep, I recall that now. So most Thursday nights we do trivia. We do not have trivia tomorrow night or the following Halloween night, but we will resume trivia. I believe it's the 5th, the Thursday after Halloween.
So a little break, and then you'll be back.
Yeah, and then Friday and Saturday nights I typically do live entertainment, some kind of band or solo singer. If not, then I'll be DJing, like actually spinning. So.
Let this dude, come on. He's so excited about it. Love
Well,
it.
I mean, there's that dance floor has so much history, and so why not just continue that on?
You're right. You're right. I mean, listen, we've all been there. As I said, don't say you haven't been. You've all boogied on the dance floor. Yeah, one time or another in your life. Well, very good. Is there anything else that you all would like to tell our viewers while you're here?
DoorDash and Uber Eats are available for lunch and dinner. I'm not going to have Uber Eats or DoorDash available on late nights on Friday and Saturday nights because there's typically not enough drivers. And then the food just sits there, so we're not going to do that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a lot of change and hopefully for the better. And we're not
constantly
evolving, and if we're not going to stop doing that, you know, there's no plans to stop doing that.
Well, very good. And those are some very welcome changes, I'm sure, to the area for folks. And that DoorDash and whatever is very convenient as well. If you haven't signed up for it, do. Because, we're all at home sometimes like, oh, no, what am I going to do? And it's so nice that someone just brings you your food.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can also order online on our website as well.
Okay.
If you want to come pick it up.
Yep. We have
Save you a little bit of money
Heck yeah.
with the DoorDash fees and whatnot, but yeah.
There you go. All right. Well, very good. Anything else? Welcome to the area.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys get out of here and get back to work and start planning more stuff.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Awesome. All right. Let's hear from our friends at Vinton County Bank, and we'll be back. I'm not sure this is weird. We're gonna tell you about it here in just a moment.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Last commercial.
Jennifer didn't even have time to wipe her nose.
I didn't. My allergies for some reason today I was driving in here and the water started pouring out of my eyes and I can't see and it's horrible and whatever. So just please don't pay any attention to me whatsoever as I am sitting here dying. But welcome. We
Thank
have
you.
2 more guests here on the program.
Yeah.
I think your people called my people.
Yeah.
It's fall.
It's fall.
Yeah.
You just give up, you put on the flannel and you go, right?
Kurt was wanting to show up about 6 o'clock to get his makeup done, but he had some things to do on the farm, so
Well,
he couldn't quite
yeah.
I
make
had my wife do it for me before I left the house.
She did a really good job.
She thought it was just going to be on the radio. I was like, no, this is TV. And
No,
she
I
goes,
need to-
sit down. We got to fix this.
She's like, son,
Yeah.
Yeah,
She says,
get out the beard oil and
Don't mention her name because she didn't want to be associated, but
well, very good. So we are going to be talking about something really, really cool going on. But first off, will you tell everybody who you are?
yeah, my name's Curt Klein. I'm the owner of Big Rack Feeds in Albany, Ohio. And
Okay.
we primarily do deer feed. Buckbone Builder is one of our products. If you listen to the radio at all, obviously you've probably heard quite a bit of advertising with that. Tad fixes me up with a lot of advertising. And we have other corn products and other livestock feed stuff as well, too. So
Okay.
we have a family farm that's been in our family since 1863, just outside of Albany, and multiple generations. And we've been around for a little while, and just new adventures, I guess,
Very good. No, this is super exciting. And, well, refresh everybody on who you are.
Tad sells in Athens, and I met Kurt. Actually, it's an interesting story. Chris, one of our former salespeople in Athens, he came to me one day and said, "Hey, I need somebody to cut an ad, but I need them to have like a Southeast Ohio hillbilly voice, and you're the only one that I know of."
He nailed it too. I mean, as soon as I heard the voiceover ad, I was like, I didn't care what it said. It was the sound. It's like he was a shoe-in for that one.
He sounded good.
So I never actually even met Curt until a couple months later. You know, we weren't even running the ad at that time. He just wanted a sample ad cut. And it was a couple months later that I met Curt, and it's been quite an adventure since, and it's been a good time.
Yeah, good time.
You know, his Buckbone Builder brand has really, honestly, it's blown up in Southeast Ohio. He's in a number of retail markets now, and so it's been a success, and we're pretty proud of it. And you know, with this big rack competition, we expect it to just even continue to grow, and also help out a number of other businesses along the way.
Okay, and so Curt, is this something that you came up with? I mean, is this your,
Yeah,
product?
so I guess a little background on me to kind of set the stage for where we ended up, because this has got a big story behind it.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned before, we a multi-generational family. I'm the 7th generation. My kids are there farming. They're the 8th. They're right there with us. My mom and dad are still alive on the farm. So we have 3 generations deep. And so we've been around for a little while. And I started selling bagged corn, 7-8 years ago. Just kind of on a whim, didn't take it too serious. I knew there was a little bit of a market for it. And then we just kind of started growing a little and developing a little more. And I started building relationships with guys that are really serious hunters. I mean, they're a lot of people, think somebody's just a hunter, but there's a lot of people that are really outdoor enthusiasts. I mean, they really manage the wildlife, their environment. It's their true passion. And having conversations with them, they would ask me, "Have you ever considered making a complete feed so that has a little more nutrition in it and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've thought about it, but I'm not really sure." Well,
to feed the deer.
To feed the deer.
To
make them healthier
and
grow bigger racks. Just more deer, bigger, healthier deer. Period. The rack is kind of the secondary thing. That's not a priority for the deer to grow a big rack. It only happens when everything else has been satisfied for that deer, and then it grows big antlers. So, having conversations, built some good friendships with several of the guys. We had an honor system there at the farm, people coming and getting corn, and just lots of conversations, and they convinced me to put together deer feed.
Oh.
So I started this actually last fall with doing some experiments, and we, I talked to these guys like, "What do you want? What are you looking for? What works well?" Now, along with that, we had livestock basically my whole life, but I managed about 500 head of sheep for 20 years on our farm.
Okay. I was going to ask you, what you farm,
Yeah, well, we're crops and livestock cattle now, but at the time, there's really no difference in the nutritional mechanism between a sheep and a deer. There's behavior, but once that corn or that feed hits the lips, the factory that processes it's really close to the same.
Gotcha.
So I had a lot of experience working with nutritionists for me on the farm, kind of in my hip pocket. I would ask these hunters what they were truly looking for in a product. It's like what works, what doesn't work out in the woods. And so obviously weatherproof was a big thing because the rain gets on the feed and it ruins it. So we kind of developed this, and then I had several guys, about 10 people, feed it through the winter and through the spring, and we had some really good success with it, really good luck. And then we started the marketing side of things in the summer, and we've really been behind the 8 ball. I'm probably running like 3 months behind of where I really should be, but we wanted to get it right, and we're like, this is our first year with this feed, and it's just been a great success.
And the thing that really convinced me was the fact that not only did Curt work with the hunters like myself, but he also worked with a nutritionist, a professional nutritionist who was an expert in this particular field to develop that particular product.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't understand this, that, feeding livestock is a science. And I can remember... This is kind of not relevant, but is relevant. You'll appreciate this. That when I was growing up, I showed horses. And the barn that I grew up in, there was, 40, 50 of us showing at the same time. And the folks running the barn, you get good at feeding horses and nutrition and all that. Well, one of the kids in our 4-H club decided to take a steer one year. Well, none of us knew what the heck to do with a steer, so Edith at the barn was like, "Well, I just fed it like I would a horse, and made sure that the nutrients were right, and it got grand champion at the fair. And everyone's like, really, they were kind of mad because the horse club had a grand champion steer, but there is a science to feeding, and you have to feed the animals properly, and they do need the proper nutrition. And could you talk a minute about, because I have been known, please don't take this the wrong way, to be a bit critical of some of the hunters and the way that they act. Mm-hmm. And it really burns my rear end when, people strap this poor deer to the hood of their car and drive around town honking their horn and whatnot. And I just think that is just disgusting, because that's not respectful of the life that you just took. Yeah. So could you talk about, avid hunting and the respect that, that real hunters show for the animals?
Yeah, it's a touchy subject, and every industry has good players and bad players.
Yes.
Farming has good players and bad players. People
absolutely.
that take care of their livestock just like their own children, and other people that have animals for their own satisfaction but don't care for them. And hunting's no different, whether it's deer hunting or you're rabbit hunting or squirrel hunting, whether you have rabbit dogs, all that stuff truly matters. And
I have the Corky here today, if you're wondering. You'll get to meet her in a little bit.
But there's really fine lines, and it's very difficult at times. And what happens a lot of times, and I can speak from the ag industry, what becomes an acceptable practice to a farmer or somebody that's in the industry, because we understand what the purpose of what we're doing is, but we can get a little bit, what I want to say, careless or sloppy with the presentation that we're presenting on what we're doing. And it's really difficult to tell somebody what's right and what's wrong.
Cute.
I mean, it's like politics, what is actually right and wrong. And I always just try to tell people, just think about what other people are seeing, what you're doing. Is that acceptable? The problem with that is it is acceptable to those people, and it's it's just not, but it's not to the public. And it's it's just a really difficult thing to manage. But the people that are truly good hunters and good sportsmen that take care of the environment, they're
it's all about the circle of life,
it's
right?
It's a circle of life,
and the environment.
It's proper harvesting. It's the humane way to do things. It's how you present it. At the end of the day, everybody's harvesting a deer, and the meat gets used and so on and so forth. But it's
doing it with some tact.
Do it with some tact and have some respect.
Sure.
And think about what other people. I mean, the last thing you want as a farmer, and once again, I relate back to this because I'm pretty sensitive to this. The last thing you want is for there to be outside pressure on what you enjoy. So if you can take an extra minute or two and do things a little bit maybe more humanely, or the presentation that you're doing to preserve your future way of what that you want to do is just a really big thing. When we have livestock, my guys, when you had 500 head of sheep, these things were having 750 lambs. So I had like 13 to 15.
How cute, though.
Yeah, but 13 to 1,500 heartbeats, basically.
Yeah. That you're
on
in
my
charge
farm,
of.
that I'm in charge of and responsible for, and things happen. I mean, I couldn't control a lot of things. It went on a daily basis.
You can't make up the stuff
but
that
I
happens.
could control what the result was of it. If we had a sheep that would happen to pass away on pasture or something, we immediately got it and we buried it. We didn't leave it there. Obviously buzzards would come take care of the thing, and that's a natural process as well. But I was always concerned on what other people's view of my livelihood was, because that was always is a threat, and it's very easy. Your level of obviously is probably different than Tad's and different of mine of what's acceptable. And everybody has that. And it's no different than politics in general with that stuff. And it's very difficult. It's interesting. I'm glad you brought it up because it's It's a very difficult thing to draw a line and say you have to be above this line or you're
This
not.
is- it's not black and white.
It's not black and white,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes, you know, things happen when you're hunting and it isn't what you want. You know, it isn't what you intended, but it happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all part of it, you know, with it. So you got to take the good with the bad and just be mindful if you're a hunter of what you're doing. Don't get tunnel vision and focus on, you know, what you're doing. Think about what everybody sees you doing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, the main thing isn't a head hanging on a wall somewhere.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
there's like that should be like several steps down
Yeah.
the road.
For a lot of people that have those, you know, and I have some in my house, some deer heads hanging on the wall from years. To the hunter, it's important for people to understand that's like a picture, family portrait. That's a memory for those people that
Sure.
harvested that deer. It's more than just, well, it's just a
A trophy,
Look
yeah.
what I did. You know, that's not generally what
they
that
see
is.
the beauty in it.
Yes, and they have that memory, and I have a deer head at my house that my dad harvested in 1972. It was the biggest non-typical deer in Ohio.
Wow.
In 1972, the deer were much smaller.
Yeah.
But you know, I have that, and it's kind of an ugly looking deer head in general. But it's the story and
it's
the
a
memories,
feeling.
of
Sure.
that, and that's the passion behind the hunter side of it that a lot of people that don't hunt don't completely understand.
Sure.
You know, with that as well too. So
You know, if everybody would just be more empathetic, the world would be a much happier place. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So you have come up with this deer feed. So hunters actually, so what you're saying is people will come, they will feed the deer to get them healthy. And that's better for the human too. If you're harvesting a deer that's healthier,
yeah.
and you're eating this deer,
Right.
or consuming it.
You know, it's just like anything else. It's when a deer is healthy, when a person is healthy, everything else kind of falls in line. When you're not getting the nutrition you need, you know, he was just talking about the food with the people from the Stockroom who was here,
yeah.
you know, and he was talking about he has a big passion for that.
Yeah.
But it's like he the big picture of that is healthy nutritional food.
Yes.
And we do the same thing with livestock. You know, if you want to know how to feed an animal, you talk to a farmer that feeds them every day.
Absolutely.
And you know, they truly understand that. And part of this with the deer thing that kind of nudged me into it, I got to investigating a lot of other deer feeds.
Okay.
And I you know, was like, well, I'm not just going to duplicate what somebody else is doing at the end of the day.
They're already
you know.
doing it, so why would you?
So, but what I found was boy, there's a lot of marketing, you know, behind
Okay.
this of sending the message of, you know, if you buy my products, you're going to get this giant
The
deer.
bells and whistles
the
and
bells
the
and whistles and stuff.
fireworks
And
and all that.
I just wanted to stay away from it and stick with the science behind what we truly did here. Now, at the same time, we have to market the product. You can't just put it in a white bag and say, "Here's some feed. Trust me, it's good."
This is way
Well, you
different.
could, but you wouldn't get very far
But
with it.
you know, that was part of it. You know, and it's providing an extra source of feed for deer. So you think about a wild deer has free roam to go basically anywhere it wants to a certain degree. And you know,
Preferably not across the highway, but
yeah, well, that's part of the issue. But you take like in the fall of the year right now, farmers and I'm doing the same. We're harvesting our corn, so there is an abundance a month ago of feed for that deer to be able to eat.
yeah,
From now on through the winter, where's that feed come from?
sure.
So they eat browse and sticks and everything else. And when you provide an extra deer feed, it just gives them an extra source of that essential nutrients that they need to stay healthy. A healthy deer produces healthier fawns. The does milk more for their fawns. The fawns get bigger and healthier. And if you're feeding year-round deer, which can get expensive, but if you do that, you'll see a definite difference in the health of the deer.
Well, I was telling this story, I think yesterday on the show, but my husband and I laugh because we have this apple tree at our house, and we say we've come to this agreement with the deer. They get the bottom half, we get the top half.
Yeah,
of the
Did you
tree.
get that in writing?
Yeah, yes, little paw prints is the cutest thing you ever
that's
saw.
good. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but no, the one day I went out and there was this mommy deer and she was on her back legs and she was picking apples and she was feeding her babies, dropping them on the ground, and they were, I was like, that is the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I got to thinking about that, though, that, we get annoyed that they eat our flowers and all of the things that they do. But at the end of the day, they're trying to survive. And they're, our flowers are probably more nutrient than sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that people confuse this, and this is, once again, my experience with farming, and this is, I was really active in the sheep industry with the state of Ohio and stuff.
Sure.
But, deer, they don't have deductive thinking. They don't have thumbs. So their purpose in life is survival.
Yes.
They want to reproduce. They want to stay healthy. They want water. And they eat what's nutritional for them and what gives them
Which
the
is
most
our
punch.
hostas and stuff.
Yeah.
that you want to just
It's
pinch their
time
little
because
cute heads
that
off.
deer that ate your hostas could have went anywhere and had about anything that day.
Yeah.
But it's a flavor thing. So when the acorns fall, I mean, literally, you can have a pile of
they'll
corn.
step over corn to go to the
to go
Oh,
to the
do they?
acorn.
Oh, well, they must.
absolutely.
They're made tastier.
Well,
huh?
they're nutritious. Are really
Okay.
high in fat.
Okay.
Really high fat content. Fat than the deer can put on body fat.
I gotcha.
So they're
for the winter too.
yeah. So it's a natural thing. So
They're smart.
Oh, they are, and so they do things for that, and people talk about when you're hunting them, how they outsmarted stuff, and they just avoid a person. Whenever you're hunting them, people say that they can outsmart you, and it's like, well, they just have this natural instinct. They are prey in the big picture.
I had two of them smell me out last night.
Yeah.
I didn't even see coming in.
Yeah, so it's just really interesting, and they don't think like you and I think.
Right.
They're an animal. They're just different. I'm not saying that they don't feel. It's like I've been around thousands of animals my whole life. Horses is a classic example of a connection with a person. A bond. Sheep, not so much. I'm pretty sure they got I think a horse's brain may be smaller, but they use it all maybe.
Yeah.
And the sheep's brain may be a little bigger, but they're pretty much not using any of it. But that it's that they do develop some means of a personality, but it's not the same type of personality that you and I have.
Yeah.
It's a behavioral, as soon as you
It's
present
instinct.
something different to a horse, it'll freak out.
Yeah.
Because it's just different. Where a person can rationalize it and go,
Yes.
well, that's different, but it's
It's okay.
A fence post is here that wasn't here yesterday. Well,
Yes.
it's not going to eat me because I know it's a fence post. Where a deer, or even a deer would do the same thing.
Yeah.
But coyotes is a classic example. We used to have a lot of problems with coyotes.
I'll bet.
With the sheep, and you literally could just take a feed bag and hang on the fence, and it would keep them away because it was something different. At night, they could see it. And then you'd move the feed bag, 60, 70 feet down the fence and hang it in a different spot. And the coyotes show up in the night. They're like, nope, we're out.
This is weird.
This is weird. So it's just differences in how they think and stuff. But anyway, we're really off topic.
Yeah, I know. I
you
don't
get me
even know
going
where
on
we got
farming and
now.
I'll go for days.
Yeah.
What are we here for again?
Sorry.
So when I walk in, y'all handed me the
Right.
2024 Big Rack Competition. And
I told
you
you
told me not to laugh.
Don't break character now.
The Big Rack Competition. So tell us all about it. The biggest rack and the
So,
prettiest rack.
Porterhouse from Pure Rock Radio.
Yes.
He had met Curt a couple times, and he came to me and said, "Hey," he said, "in the past we had done some deer competitions, basically, yeah,
Years ago.
yeah, and he thought it'd be cool if we could get back to kind of celebrating the American deer hunter, really
Sure.
celebrating their accomplishments, their achievements during the fall season. Deer hunters do quite a bit of good when it comes to outdoors. Not only are they helping to control the deer population, but they're also contributing, a tremendous amount of money into the economy. And Curt knows this.
Yeah.
And they're also, with buying their tags and their licenses and so on and so forth, that's the biggest contribution to the ODNR, who helps to
Makes total
take
sense.
care of our trails and our natural places. that we all enjoy. And so if you're an outdoor enthusiast, if you're a hunter, but you like to hike or you like to, just go camping or something along those lines, you should appreciate the hunter because they're the ones who are paying for a lot of that. To a large degree. And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to just celebrate the deer hunter, really have a good time with it. Of course, Porterhouse and Jason and his crew in the mornings, they're going to have a great time with it. And so it starts on November 1st, right, Curt?
Yep.
November 1st, we thought, well, because many hunters nowadays are bow hunters. By the time gun season rolls around, they've already harvested their deer. And so...
Yeah, there's been a big shift in that.
Yes,
hasn't there?
absolutely. Big time. Yeah. It used to be, during gun season, it would just be an army of orange you would see everywhere, and it's not so much that way anymore. And some of it has to do with some people have moved away from hunting. Some of your younger generation, they've decided not to take up hunting. And so hopefully this is an opportunity to also try to gather some attention to hunting and hopefully encourage some younger people to participate. One of the categories is best harvest taken during the youth season. And so, we certainly want to encourage our younger hunters out there to be a part of it and get out there and enjoy nature.
And please teach them the right way and respectful way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's part of this. It's right in the rules. The deer has to be harvested legally. Everything has to be, in the up and up. We'll be checking on the deer to make sure that it's legitimate. And so, you can check out the Pure Rock Facebook pages for the rules. They've been posted. And I'm sure Cheryl will be posting them as well on our social media sites, and we'll be sharing that information. It has on there also in the rules how you can participate. It's free for hunters to participate, which is awesome. We gotta we got to thank our sponsors who will be announcing those sponsors here in the next in the upcoming days. But
I'm sorry. All okay. Hey. It's just Pete Wilson. He's very nice.
Pete. Yeah, you don't bark at Pete. Nobody barks at Pete.
Nobody barks at Pete Wilson. He's the nicest human on earth.
Yeah. So Curt decided he wanted to put his name on this as well, and so.
Yeah.
No, love this. This is a great idea.
Yeah, something that hasn't really been done for a long time. Gosh, how many counties are in it now?
I think we're up to 10 or so.
I'm looking. Okay, so here's some of the rules. It is free. You must be a resident of Athens, Hawking, Jackson, Meigs, Vinton, Morgan, Washington, or Gallia counties.
And we added Ross and Pike County.
And Ross and Pike County, too.
We've added Ross and Pike County to the mix.
Yeah. So we're covering basically about all of southeastern Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, what are the logistics of this competition? Do you bring the deer somewhere?
No.
Do you send in pictures? Do you...
So
that work?
the website, you're going to have to do the email.
Yeah, it's... they'll be emailing us pictures of the deer, of the harvested deer.
Awesome.
And the email is purerockbigrack@gmail.com. Yep. purerockbigrack@gmail.com.
Can't hold it together. What's wrong with you?
And so they'll harvest. I don't know why are the women laughing?
I have no
idea.
I mean, the men all understand exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So
We're so weird. Okay, so there's several different competitions. The biggest rack, the prettiest rack, the best harvest taking during youth season, but then best hunting story.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
I mentioned that before, that every deer head that's hanging on the wall or a picture has a story and a memory behind it. And that's what we're interested in. What was the story that you want to share with your hunt? Even if
does it have to be from this year?
Not technically. We don't make that rule. We don't make that clear.
It didn't have to end up with a harvest.
Right.
It could be the story of the one that got away. Yeah. But everybody that has spent any time in the woods has had funnies, and stories, or could even be a very serious, heartfelt, situation from family, or remembering Grandpa's, last deer that he was hunting with us, or whatever, just stuff like that. That's kind of what we're looking for with it. So it'd be some type of short story that would be submitted.
Okay.
And then, we will select. Now, when we get all these pictures, we're anticipating on getting several. We're going to go through a kind of a vetting process where the pro staff of hunters that I have and some of the team at the radio station are going to select like the top 10 in each category.
Okay.
And we will actually go out and physically make sure that the deer exists because of
I was
AI
gonna
and different
say,
things, you know.
yeah, that could be a thing too.
So that'll eliminate that down, and then it'll go back on social media for the public to vote on it.
Perfect.
So we're not going to go out the tape measure and measure every rack. This is going to be, a public opinion.
Okay.
Hence the prettiest competition. Because how do you judge that other than people would vote on it?
Yeah.
So it'll be one of those things where obviously if somebody has a deer in a competition, they want to encourage all their friends to go to the Facebook page or whatever we're
Absolutely.
using. I
Pure
think
options,
to make connection to vote. For
Love
them on that as well too. So yeah, I think it's a very well thought out. I have to give 90% of the credit to Tad and the team to put it together. I mean, I think Rodney brought it up one day, and
That's Rodney. He's always got some wild ideas.
He come up with it, and he was talking about during gun season, and we were like, "Hey, Rodney, you've had a few birthday cakes between now and then. Gun season isn't what it used to be."
Yeah.
So we put it together, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm all on board. Whatever you guys think will work well, and with that part of it." And
Well, and the cool
it's
thing
very
is-
well put together, I think.
Yeah, so you have obviously between November 1st and December 8th?
Yeah,
Yes.
which is the last day of the regular gun season.
So it's, as we've spread out gun season versus bow season.
Yeah.
So it's going to go the whole gambit of that, which is cool.
That
Plenty
time
of
period.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of time to do it. Actually, bow season started at the beginning of October, but it's
Okay.
like, how do we do a competition that's like 3 months
Yeah,
long? You
right,
know, so
right.
so the typical rut or breeding season for deer, although it's probably started to a certain degree in certain places, really starts about the first part of November. And that's when you have the most deer movement and activity, and that's when you see the most deer. And we kind of selected that time period. It's when a lot of the bigger deer is harvested.
Okay.
And when most of your auto collisions are as well.
Yeah, right. As they say, it's car season for deer.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, very good. This is great. And again, please participate in the Big Rack competition.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, just call here and we'll get you all the answers.
Yep.
Yep. Sounds great. Appreciate
you, Jennifer.
Awesome. Thank you. And we appreciate you guys stopping by. It's really nice meeting
it.
you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, you want to do the weather, Adrian? And then we can switch out Pete Wilson, and hopefully the Corky doesn't attack him.
Sounds pretty vicious.
She's vicious, all right.
It's off camera.
Yeah, right.
I think you're safe from the kneecaps.
Yeah.
Gotta watch your calves.
Yeah, you can watch your ankles there, Pete. Thanks, guys, so much. All right, well, let's look at that weather forecast as it is fall in Ohio, and God knows what the weather is going to do in Ohio. But today looks very pretty with some sunshine, highs of 77. Those lows are what are kind of getting us as we went from very, very warm temperatures down to it kind of frosting your mums and stuff at night. So, but yeah, it looks like mid 60s to low 70s, kind of for the next few days. So we'll take it, right, Pete?
Absolutely. Indian summer, is that what it is?
I think so, something like that.
Okay.
Have you met Olive?
Olive has met me.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, must have smelled my pussycat.
Yeah, must have. I had to bring Olive to work with me today. So she's here, and come here, show everybody, say hi. We gotta show everybody Olive.
Oh
And
my,
she was here when she was little,
what a beauty.
but now she's big.
Oh yeah.
Say hi.
Hi there, Olive. How you doing? Thank you.
Oh, see,
How about
he's
that?
not mean.
Not at all.
And Cheryl's been taking care of Olive over here.
Okay.
But yeah, so what? I'm hoping that you don't have anything as exciting as you have had. the
Okay.
past
Well,
few days.
we got some stuff, but the hardcore crime, murders, robberies, and like that. Nothing new on that front.
Okay,
Although there is always updates.
Yes.
But anyway, we're going to start with another story that is sad.
Okay.
Not a crime story, but Wellston and Jackson County lost a very good man last night, Tim Ackley, who was the police chief in Wellston. There is a picture of Tim when he was the police chief. It's been some time since he was the chief, but people in Wellston especially knew him very well. He was with the Wellston Police Department during that career for 34 years, and he was the chief from 2013 until he retired in 2018. And since that time, I know he's done some other things. One of his last positions before his illness was being a security guard at the Vinton County Courthouse. So the folks up there got to know him that way as well.
Sure.
But Tim was so well thought of that, after his death happened late yesterday, his wife requested a police escort into town from Holzer Medical Center, Jackson. That's where Tim died. He had a serious illness.
Yes.
And they did get that police escort, and there were people lining the streets in Wellston. It's short notice, but there was some people out there. And so, once again, Tim passed away yesterday at the age of 64 after a battle with cancer. And so, we'll hear more about the arrangements and all like that. But Tim, it wasn't just that he had a long career at the police department, not just that he was the chief. He was a very good man and a nice man, and was well thought of. I know he was active in some other good things in Wellston as well. Big volunteer with the recreation department. I believe he was the DARE officer at one time within the police department. Yeah. So a lot of folks knew Tim. I knew Tim from my career in journalism, and so did Jeremiah Shaver. So we're going to have news type coverage of that, not just an obituary. That will come a little later in our next paper. Okay, speaking of the robbery that occurred on Monday evening, I know a lot of people constantly ask, did they catch the guy? Did they catch the guy? So far, they have not. The suspect in that robbery remains at large. It happened, on Monday evening at the Jackson Express convenience store, 799 East Main Street. A masked robber with wearing a hoodie and red shorts approached with toting a gun two employees who were out on the lot depositing trash in the dumpster.
It's very strange.
It is. Necklace, some cash, and a cell phone, all stolen there, were among the stolen items. From what I understand, at least from what has been released, the police did not see him after he left the scene. There was no pursuit or we're after him.
Just disappeared.
Police got calls and tips about noises and things like that, but no confirmed sightings of the suspect. So that suspect does remain at large. Two things that the police want the public to know. Number one, it is safe. They believe it's an isolated incident. It's over with. There was not any other attempted robbery or crime associated with it. Other things happened in town, but it was not related to this incident. Also, police want the public to know, there's no need for lockdowns or anything like that. Talked with somebody with the police department this morning, and they said they had multiple calls yesterday morning. Well, do we need to lock our doors? Can our business be open? Should we be on the lookout for anyone coming in or whatever? And that danger is over. No, they don't have the suspect, but they
don't feel as if he's out.
No, it's
pursuing people
no,
at this.
No, absolutely not. Not under the circumstances.
And I think that people were just really shook up over the incident over the weekend of, and I think it just kind of amplified people's concern. Like, this is Jackson, for the love of God. I think things like that don't happen here.
I think you have something there, with the horrible murder, shootout with law enforcement, and I don't think that's an exaggeration to say.
No.
And then the armed robbery, not just a robbery, but an armed robbery, someone with a gun.
Just
Suddenly we're Dodge City, and everybody's worried. It's so ironic because having attended meetings and talking to the police and law enforcement and like that, there's always been crime. I'm not discounting that, but
not like this.
Property crime was actually been down a lot the last couple years.
Right.
Brett Hinch, the Jackson police chief, who I know is working very hard trying to get to the bottom of this armed robbery, he had told me that the property crime was way down. Burglaries, break-ins, like that. So anyway, when it rains, it pours. And when it doesn't rain, it doesn't rain. We found that out too.
Correct. For sure.
But anyway, going to switch real quickly to some other things that are going on. Of course, it is the political season, election coming up on November the 5th, early
Yes.
voting already occurring. But,
Did you vote already?
I have not, but my wife wants me to do it at lunch, over the lunch period. She wants to get that done.
Via the mail.
Right. Well, I think the early voting is on the heavy side.
Yeah, I think so.
And so there's actually a website on the Secretary of State's website, rather a link where you can get some actually early voting totals and broken down by age groups and party and all like that. Very interesting. We're checking that out and reporting on that for the newspaper and the radio and like that. But that's on the Secretary of State's website. But last Saturday, we had this in the paper. The Democrats had their fall gathering. The Jackson County Democrats had their fall gathering. Their special, and there's the picture of them meeting in the basement of the La Rosa's Pizzeria.
Sure.
That's usually where they have their major events. And the guest speaker was Luke Feeney. He is pretty well known in Ohio Democratic politics. He also happens to be the mayor of Chillicothe. He's the secretary of the Ohio Democratic Party. He was the keynote speaker, and one of his main missions was to tout Sherrod Brown's reelection as United States Senator. Of course, that is a hot election statewide.
It's a wild race.
It's very close between him and his Republican challenger, Bernie Moreno. And so in that Democratic fall gathering, one of the things that the chair, Lisa Parker, wanted to say was, hey, we know that the Republicans have dominated Jackson County for a long time, and they still do. They admitted that. But they are working hard. The Democrats are working hard to try to change that, one election at a time and break into that edge, that big margin that Republicans usually have, whether it's a national or local race or whatever. The message was, hey, we are out here and we are working.
And I think that's fair, Pete. And just because your mommy and daddy and grandma and grandpa and everybody else was a Republican or Democrat doesn't mean that you have to be. And it doesn't mean that you have to go down that line and vote R or D, on the ballot. Like, think for yourself, people.
Well, I tell you what.
You can vote for one and then another. It's okay.
I don't like to spout a lot of opinions because I'd rather
when
be
it
known
comes
for
to
my
this stuff.
objectivity and non-biasness. But I am uncomfortable by somebody who is totally R or totally
because
D.
they don't have a brain to think for themselves.
Well, it's like the party.
Come
The
on,
party.
guys.
The party is above the country, and even if I don't disagree, even if I don't agree with everything that the party leader is doing or that the party is doing, you got to get in lockstep. That's just not me. But anyway.
Think about it
But
before you
still,
vote.
we need the two-party system too. I know that.
Well, we definitely do.
But anyway, a story on the Democratic fall gathering and everything that was said. Alex Shope covered that for us on Saturday and did an excellent job. That story is one of the many items in Wednesday's paper. Speaking of Bernie Moreno, he was in town on Monday.
He was?
The actual candidate, Bernie Moreno, was there.
How
There he
funny.
is speaking at the Stockroom 601. It was a fundraiser. Now, that was closed to the public, or the general public, and even to the press. But I was able to get a short interview with him afterwards. And that soundbite has been on the radio, and we'll also have a story in Saturday's paper. So they are, the candidates are paying attention to little old Jackson County.
Good.
And speaking of voting, you talked about early voting.
Yeah.
It's been going on since October the 8th. The hours this week, and they make it easier for you to vote now as far as the
It's so
convenience
convenient.
factor.
Yes.
It is, through this week, it is 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. at the county boards of elections. So if we're speaking from a local framework, Jackson County Board of Elections on 25 East South Street, and the Vinton County Board of Elections on State Route 93 North in MacArthur, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. through this Friday. And then this weekend, Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday 1 p.m. to 5. And those hours will get even longer next week.
That's right. And the good and the bad of this is you still have some time to vote, but the good is that it's almost over.
Right, that is.
I mean, election fatigue is a real thing.
No, it is. It is.
People just finally have it up to here with it.
You get bombarded with the campaign ads, and they
Political silly season.
They do tend to be negative, and they don't bring out the best in people. But I understand they think that's the best way to gain traction by attacking their opponent.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes it may be legitimate attacks. Sometimes it may not.
not.
It's up to you to figure it out. All right, the Jackson County Soil and Water, it's the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District, but it does cover all of Jackson County. They're going to have their big coming out event tomorrow evening at the Scioto Township Fire Department out there on State Route 776.
Okay.
They're going to, do their honors, do their election of trustees and all. And one of the persons being honored is a real nice guy that a lot of people don't know unless they're involved in agriculture and soil and water conservation and in the outdoors, and that is John Meredith. John Meredith is going to be honored as the Cooperator of the Year. That's the title of the award. 30-plus years of service with the United States Department of Agriculture.
Wow.
And over the years, from having been around a long time, too, nice man, and he knows what he's talking about. Very unpretentious.
Good.
All right. Also today at the Jackson County Health Department out there at 102 Twin Oaks Drive. Remember, new location. They're having a Boo to the Flu event.
Boo to the flu. Go out, get your flu shot.
Right.
And other stuff too.
It's from 4 to 6 p.m. It's a great time for the kids to go out and in their costumes and have
get candy.
a gathering. Oh yeah, trick or treat for candy all around the building. The staff will even be in costume. I'd like to see what Kevin Aston dress up as.
I don't know.
Bella
He's a big
Lugosi.
fella.
Yeah, Bella Lugosi or Frankenstein maybe.
Maybe.
Oh,
He's tall.
He's a nice guy.
He's super sweet.
But anyway, should be a wonderful time at the health department. You know, they're doing a lot of work to get out of the office to give flu shots, COVID shots, other
Above
kinds
and
of
beyond,
shots.
for
Right.
sure.
So that schedule has been printed and posted, and we'll continue to throw that out. But when you're there for Boo to the Flu, they will be set up to give you flu and COVID shots.
Yes, absolutely. And you can get both at the same time.
Absolutely. And usually insurance and all that usually covers the cost. And I think they try very hard to see that everybody gets served, whether they can pay or not.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how they handle that, but they do communicate that.
It's a thing.
All right. The Oak Hill Lady Oaks lost last night, but we need to give them a shout out. Put their picture up there. There they are. Oak Hill. You know, over the years, you remember their reputation in girls basketball.
Oh, yes.
You know, in the Doug Hale years and afterwards. But the volleyball's never lived up to the basketball. Well, now it's doing very well. They did lose last night to a regional powerhouse, the Frankfurt Adena Lady Warriors, in a district semifinal over at Waverly High School. They got beaten 3 straight games. But this team finished 14-10. They think it's the first winning season at Oak Hill, and they don't even know how long it's been that they've had a winning season. I mean, if it's been fairly recent, we don't know that, could not confirm it, and neither could they. But they had a great season. They won a tournament game, remember, against Rock Hill last week that sent them to this district semifinal in Waverly. So congratulations to those ladies and to the coaching staff. Zach Kaiser is the coach, and you know what? They only have 2 seniors on the team. So, you know.
Another thing Oak Hill's going to excel at.
They're probably going to have a chance to be pretty good next year. But this year, they deserve a lot of credit.
Good for you, ladies. Proud of you.
Okay.
Girl power.
And we want to tell you, it's out on the street now. Our paper's out. It's kind of extra big. We've got 16 pages. And remember, we're all local. All local.
That's right.
And there's a lot of stuff in there, just let me tell you.
You think?
Not just the bad stuff, but some good stuff too. So
you got it.
So it's out there on the street now. Of course, it's online as well on the telegramnews.com. And we have links. Some of it's behind the paywall, but we have links on Facebook as well because we know a lot of people go there.
You've got it. Well, Pete, I'm trying to think of how to put this politely. I hope that you don't have any crazy news to report.
Well,
that you have a break.
Yesterday evening, I went home between 7 and 8, and nobody gave me a call. I didn't get any text.
You don't know what to do with yourself if that happens. Huh?
No. It was nice. It was nice. Watched a movie.
Everybody behave.
Oh, yeah, I'm all for that.
Was it a scary movie?
Cleopatra with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton.
I don't think that's scary.
Yeah, it lasted 4 hours, and I did go to sleep before it was over.
I gotcha. We watched Misery last night.
I watched part of that, too, on the commercials. Okay. Is Kathy Bates great in that or not?
I mean, the whole thing, I don't care how old that movie is. It is still, like, creepy and weird.
It is a great story without monsters, but still I think you can classify it as horror.
And that's what makes it even crazier is that it could really happen.
It could.
You're just like, they're not superhuman people. So, all right. Well, we do have to get out of here for the day. Thank you so much to everybody that stopped by and talked with us this morning. Very, very fun. And Olive and I are going to go out on the town today, and her sister is at the vet, so we came out.
Okay.
So here we are,
Well,
didn't we?
It was very nice to meet Olive.
Yes, and I'm sorry she barked at you.
Well, she's just taking care of you.
Something like that. And thank you to Cheryl for watching Olive while I was doing an interview. So, all right. Well, have a great day, everyone, and beautiful, beautiful weather out there. Get out and about. See if you have any outdoor work to do, because this is going to be a great day to do it. And we'll be right back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.